Hello everyone, welcome back to another Friday and another casual champion review. I am so happy that today I get to play Dr. Mundo because I thought that I had to play Draven this week, and I really don't like playing Draven, but I really like playing Dr. Mundo. I guess the space makes him count before alphabetically, but in the league client I'm pretty sure Draven comes first. Or am I crazy? I don't know. Regardless, I thought I was going to play Draven, but nah, I get to play one of my main men, Mundo. I love Mundo so much. I'm so excited to talk about him again. You know what I'm excited to show, though? Fan art section. Yeah, look at these Mundos. Look at these guys. I feel like, I don't know how to continue to segue and continue to say how much I love seeing the fan art stuff every week, but just know, fellas, it brings a smile to my face each and every time. I love it so much. Thank you, guys. I love the spams you can do. He's one of those characters, he's like Volibear, you know, where you can combo a whole bunch of your emote spams together. And he just has some really good spams in general. Like, look at this. This character just makes me happy. I don't know what to say. He just playing this character gives me joy. He's just a silly, goofy guy. And you may notice I'm playing Mundo mid because I want to try maybe Mundo jungle or Mundo top, but he's so slow with jungle, and top lane that's a lane for absolute psychopath, serial murderer people in real life, not fictional characters like Mundo. So I'm playing Mundo mid instead today versus a Kali, who I'm fairly certain got buffed to hell and high water. Yep, there it is. So this is going to be kind of interesting because I have talked about Mundo twice before. I talked about him in his own dedicated video that was over 2 years ago now, and in the season rewind for the season that he came out in. I really can't go back and rewatch the Mundo video at least. It's 2 years ago, man. My delivery in those videos, I sound like I was trying to talk while everyone was in the room right next door and I didn't want to upset anyone. I feel like my delivery in videos has gotten better since then. So I guess a quick refresher for the fellas who don't know already about Mundo's lore. There isn't very much to it because they didn't really change it from the old version. It still has a slight bit of difference on the origin of how he became this way, because in the old version of the lore, he just was always the way he is. He has always been Mundo. He was discovered as a baby, as this giant purple glob the scientists took in, and he thought he was a doctor, and that kind of ended there. The similarities for the lore of old and new became one after that. But with new Mundo, his origin did get changed quite a bit. So instead of always being this big purple glob monster, instead Mundo was once just a normal guy, a normal enforcer working for a chem baron. The thing is, he was more so not really a violent person. In fact, he was a very friendly person, which his main job was just being intimidating because he was very large, very physically intimidating even before he mutated. And he was really kind and jovial and people liked him. He would make nicknames for them, but he's kind of a bit of a himbo in a way. He wouldn't really know the things he was doing or upsetting people, and once he might have upset his boss, and you don't want to upset a chem baron. And that's what happened. He accidentally upset his chem baron. The chem baron's like, hey man, I'm gonna do some vile things to you because I can. Takes him to an asylum in Zon and experiments on him. Well, he doesn't experiment on him. He gets his enforcers to experiment on him. It says, oh god. Hooray! But the Chem Baron's goons experiment on him over months of a time. It's kind of weird. In the bio, it's very descriptive about what they did to him. It's kind of glossed over that it is legitimate torture. Like, the kind of things they did to him are horrific to the same degree as what Singe did to Work, and I think Singe would probably be really proud of the people who did the things that they did to Mundo. But the experiments turned him into a horrible monster. A giant blue creature with muscles bigger than humanly possible. All these weird cybernetic implants of stuff they put onto him, and his brain deteriorated as a result of all the experiments. Because of that, in his straitjacket, he doesn't think properly. So he thinks this straitjacket is actually a doctor's outfit. Oh no. But he thinks his straitjacket is a doctor's outfit. In fact, reads the tag on him upside down, which is some Zonite language, I think. I don't remember exactly. But regardless, looking upside down, you can't see it on the model here exactly, but it says Mundo upside down, or at least it looks like Mundo. So because his brain's deteriorated, he's completely forgotten his past life and his name. He assumes, oh, that's my name. Me am doctor here. Me am Mundo, famous doctor at asylum. The only reason I could possibly be here is because I am doctor, and these people all around me are my patients. So A couple time passes, and the Cambaran Enforcer comes back, horrified to discover bodies everywhere. Everyone at the facility is dead except for some looming purple creature off in the distance. And as he turns around, ripped arms and body parts all over the floor, the Cambaran realizes, oh no, that's my Enforcer. I didn't expect them to do that much. And Mundo thinks, oh boy, new patient. Grabs him, throws him on a medical chair, and starts experimenting on him, preparing to do a surgery like he's been trained to do for the past 5 minutes. Your new skin won't save you, Shyvano. Shit. Don't worry, I got this next one, watch. Death. I have never regretted not maxing Q until this very moment. Nice. Yeah, so I've been trying to max E on Mundo recently. Oh shit, I'm going, not this standard Mundo build. I'm still building Heartsteel, of course, because it's just great on Mundo. But I'm trying out this fancy build. I don't need Q damage. I'm gonna go E max, big bonkus. I'm gonna half-shot these fools with a single auto attack. Just you wait, it's gonna be awesome. But as most of Mundo's surgeries go, they end in failure. The body horribly mutilated and parts left flying on the walls and on the floor. And he thinks to himself, well, Mundo failed this patient, but he will surely not fail next patient. I will go into streets and we must find more patients to cure. And that's kind of where his story ends. He's just kind of a crazed man running around in Zon, a boogeyman of sorts, kind of like Warwick, although I think Warwick is a lot more known to the general Zon populace than Mundo is. He doesn't have very much else in terms of lore. He did get a short story, which I think was a very fun take on short stories, where usually they have an actual description of where the champion is, what they're doing. But in Mundo's case, it was actually written by him, just called Mundo's Medical Journal. And, oh god, I'm an expert. And the thing is, because it's supposed to be written by him, it's about as incoherent and unreadable as a journal written by Mundo sounds. Like, it's funny to read, but it's also legitimately difficult considering how horribly spelled the entire bio is. But that's, I think, where Mundo succeeds the most. He is at his best when he is played purely for laughs and purely for comedy, which makes his initial bio really weird, and I'll get into it in a bit. I've talked about this a lot, both in the Season Rewind and in his own dedicated video, but he does have very bad tonal whiplash problems in that I feel like the people who are working on Mundo, at least the different aspects of him, design, lore, gameplay, everything, didn't really know what they wanted to do. They all had their different ideas of what they want. Like, if you look at his in-game model, this is a goofy-ass, stupid, dumb, idiot comedy character. And his voice lines as well. He is played purely for laughs and for no other reason than to just... He's meant to be funny, okay? He's a comedy character. He's a goofy guy. But I wouldn't be shocked if people don't read that immediately, both from his design and his lore. His lore, like I said, kind of glosses over the fact that he was actually tortured, like legitimately tortured and a victim of abuse. But it's weird. They play him off as some kind of horror character, and especially if his theme song. If you guys have heard his theme song, that's not some goofy comedy character. That's that's a horror movie theme. That's some serial killers coming up to get you. And I mean, he technically is a serial killer. But, you know, told you the new skin won't save you. Oh my god, you see what I mean? Big bonkus. Big bonkus. Oh my god. Oh my... Oh, I'm so happy to be playing Mundo instead of Draven, you guys. His design, though, I guess it works as like a weird hunky himbo, and it is said in his bio that he was a big, friendly, albeit not overly bright guy, so that translates a bit to his in-game model, his current design anyway, but it feels like a bit too much. They focused a bit too much on making him restrained. He's got that Chad jawline, really solid muscle definition. They say it's weird and contorted in all kinds of bizarre ways. He just looks like any stereotypical big superhero bodybuilder. Like, he looks like the build of crazy Superman, except not when he does this. That maybe maybe he should just be this build all the time. You know what? I want to say it. How he is in his recall, that should be his muscle build all the time. Just completely ridiculous, absurd muscles that couldn't possibly exist on any normal human being. Not that his current build actually could, I feel like. Someone would probably explode with this amount of muscle mass. The nice thing about Mundo, though, is most of the time when we have champions like that, it's the reverse problem, where we have a great character represented in a thematic fantasy portrayed in the lore or in any other form of any other form of the game besides the game itself. And to most players who don't catch up on the lore, that's what they're going to see the most. So for most people, their perception of what Malphite is, for example, is just going to be some dumb rock in League of Legends who goes, hurt, kill, like that's all you're going to get. No normal League of Legends player is going to know that Malphite is some big piece of an armored fortress who's actually really intelligent, a caring father. I mean, look at Chip. You're not gonna get that. The nice thing about Mundo, is that they chose, of all the things for him, he's got what? Hunky himbo, horror slasher movie villain character, and goofball comedy character. I think what is the most special part about Mundo is that he is a goofball comedy character. We have very, very few of those in League. The ones I can think of off the top of my head is Kled and kind of Bard, but that's more like a personality we've been printed onto Bard as players, that he's some goofy baghead guy running around the place. Kled's actually a goofball, but so is Mundo. I mean, just look at that animation, man. The tongue waving about. He's just a little goofhead. And that's great. I love that the most important and unique aspect about him, and the thing I think they really should have focused on overall in every aspect about him, is what's most prevalent in League of Legends. I think that's why I probably look at him with a better light than most other champions who have suffered similar tonal whiplashes, because the thing I experience most often is the best part about him. I love goofy characters, man. I love goofy skins. I love goofy characters. So of course, I'm gonna love Mundo in League of Legends. And I didn't even get to his gameplay, man. I think Mundo does walk that fine line of being a bit too similar to his original incarnation, but I think that's better. I prefer when reworks are like Fiddlesticks, like Warwick, that area of characters where they are basically the old champion's kit, but given a few modern touches to feel more like modern champions. The best thing I can think of for Mundo is his E, where now if you last hit a minion or a champion, it will send them flying as an extra projectile. That's awesome, and I think it gives him extra attack range, but I don't remember. Oh! Doctor, this is how we doctor. Him, Vex, Sentinel Graves, Ivern, like, there's just some champions. I love my goofy characters, man. I love my silly, goofy characters that have silly, goofy voice lines. He just makes me smile. Old Mundo's E, though, was just a whack. It was just an auto attack reset, same as it is now, but that's all it was. It would just convert some of his HP into AD, and he would do a big slam. That's good, but it's only a single button. His W as well was just a toggle. You press it on, and you leave it on forever. Just bonus magic resist and damage around you forever. Whereas now the W has a lot more agency. You have to time it properly, you absorb damage, you get damage, you get health back afterwards. I really like it. It's just subtle enough changes that makes it feel different and have a bit more skill expression, but, you know, it's not a wild departure like some other reworks have been. It still feels exactly like how you'd expect Mundo to play. They did got his healing on his ult, though. His healing on his ult is not nearly as good until you get to level 11 or level 16. I'm pretty sure old Mundo, if you had 3 ranks in ult, it was like 120% of his max health regenning, which is insane. But I know I was talking about that he has skill expression with his W and his E, but let's be honest, Mundo is one of the least skill expressive champions in the game. Complete brain off, no thinking, run at them with 5 billion health and throw cleavers at them. That's what you do on Mundo. And that's perfect. Would you expect Mundo to be a high skill cap character? I wouldn't. I think that would completely clash with his character fantasy. In fact, I think he has one of the most engaging character fantasies in the game. So for example, a champion like Maokai, I don't think he really works in the same way Mundo does. Maokai just runs into the full enemy team, brain off, spam abilities, who cares, you're invincible. I don't really get that with Maokai, because he's supposed to be a sad but methodical tree spirit, so that gameplay pattern doesn't really work for him. But with Mundo, the character whose brain is literally off, of course you'd want his gameplay to be completely brain off. I mean, look at me. I'm bashing my skull into the turret with no care in the world. I don't care, Akali. I don't care. I'm Mundo. Ignore that. Ignore that. I don't need to hit things. I'm Mundo. I don't need to hit things. Bap. Oh, it's so goofy and stupid. I would never recommend anyone to try and climb in League of Legends with Mundo. Technically, I wouldn't recommend anyone to play ranked in League of Legends at all anyway. But if you're just looking to be stupid, goofy, not care, run around the map like an absolute buffoon, I don't think there's any character in the game that succeeds in that aspect better than Dr. Mundo. That's probably why, as time's gone on, I still think he is kind of a mess thematically. Again, the whole tonal whiplash with all the different aspects about him completely portraying different kinds of characters. They didn't really know what they wanted him to be. But for the thing we actually have in League of Legends, the thing we get to see most often, that's the Mundo that I know and the Mundo that I love and that I see the most often, because Lord knows Riot is never going to give him more lore. They couldn't even bother to give Neferi a color story. Speaking of Neferi, actually, I think you guys probably saw the new icons they released. Those are awesome, dude. I love that every single champion got something brand new at the same time. I can't recall the last time that happened. I'm not counting Eternals. That doesn't count. It's not even a thing. It's stupid. Why were Eternals made? But I do have to critique a little bit. One, well, Ivern is terrifying. I don't know why they made Ivern look so goddamn menacing. It's really weird. But the icons don't exactly help Mundo's case either, because they try to make him look cool, right? He's got the floppy tongue out, but he does kind of just look like Purple Garen, does he not? There's a weird obsession, I think, with everything outside of League of Legends itself. They try to make him look cool. I don't get that. He's the goofball comedy character. Why are you trying? And I think that's best represented in corporate Mundo. Now, I should preface that Mundo is a part of the 1,000 Day Club. In fact, he is near approaching part of the 2,000 Day Club. I think as I'm recording this, I have my notes here, yes. It has been 1,714 days since Mundo's last skin. In all fairness, that time is before the rework. His last skin he got was the, I believe, Frozen Prince Mundo is what it's called. That was the last skin he got, and that was in 2018, December of 2018. And that was before his rework. So fine, fair. How long has it been since he got his rework? So since he got all his skins updated? For then, it has been 798 days. It has still been well over 2 years since he got a skin since his rework. So even not counting the rework, he has still gone nearly 800 days without a new skin, and that is absurd, especially considering Jin just got Soul Fighter, and now he's getting this $200 mythic gacha FOMO chroma, which I'm going to talk about that in the Cosmic Casual Champion review, or a Cosmic Skin review, whatever, you know what I mean. So it's become kind of a meme at this point that Mundo just does not get a skin. The fact that it's been this long, almost, what is it? We're approaching the 5-year mark since his last skin. That has to be a new record. I don't think it can possibly be that any other champions even come close to that. Zillion has been the 1,000 Day Club 3 times in a row, but 5 years. And the weird thing is, they promised a new Mundo skin at the beginning of the year. Where is it? We're in August now. Like, come on, Riot. You know what it is? You know what it is, though? I think they're scared. I think they know no matter what they do, they could give him a prestige, they could give him a new legendary skin even. That would be nice, though, right? I mean, it's been 5 years since this last one. Maybe like a little sorry present to all the Mundo players who've had to wait this long for nothing. But we all know that's not going to happen. They're going to give Yasuo a 3rd legendary and a 50 millionth prestige skin to Kaiser or something. And I think the reason that Mundo isn't getting a new skin is because they know no matter what they do, it will never ever top corporate Mundo. It is just, not only is it his peak skin, but it is one of the best skins in the entire game, period. It's exactly everything I want in Mundo. That is his goofy nature entirely personified. It's nothing but laughs, nothing but being a weird, funny businessman poking holes and fun at all the executives and business decisions. I feel like the devs who are working on it probably consciously knew they were making fun of their own bosses while making it, and just, with the current state of how monetization works in League of Legends, like I said, $200 FOMO Gacha Mythic Chrome or Soraka repurposing, not entirely recycling, but very similar animations, Samira skin not being an ultimate. I just can't help but feel, man, Corporate Mundo is probably running League of Legends right now. And on that, I've said this several times, but please, Riot, give me more corporate skins. I want a full corporate skin line of champions who have no right being in a corporate environment as a full... Oh, hi, Ash. Give me, like, Human Resources Fiddlestick, Secretary Rek'Sai, Busboy Kog'Maw. Just give me all the weird, goofy monster champions in a corporate environment. That would be amazing. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have to say about Mundo. Very sad Hand Mundo was not the final design, but such is life. It's still one of my emotes, both on Twitch and in my Discord server, of just Hand Mundo thumbs up. And every time I forget that I'm talking to someone who is not in my Discord server or on my Twitch, and I use that in place of a thumbs up, they get really weirded out. But it's great. I love it so much, and I think Mundo is just great. I will be the first to acknowledge his very many problems and, again, tonal whiplash, but he just makes me happy, you know? He just makes me happy. I enjoy playing Mundo. I enjoy listening to his voice line, seeing his goofy animations. It's a simple joy to Mundo, and I don't know if I'd change it. I mean, I'd change the design probably to better match his goofy nature, but, you know, well, I get to live in bliss for now, because I know next week I don't get to play Mundo. I have to play Draven, which I'm not looking forward to, so... Till next week, fellas, that was Mundo. I'll see you next week for Draven, alright? That was my Mundo impression.